Welcome back. If you've been hunting for the best free dinosaur games on Steam, this is exactly the list you need right now. 25 picks, all playable today. Zero excuses.
Starting off strong at number 1, Cell to Singularity Evolution Never Ends is a free-to-play idle clicker that takes you on an epic journey through the history of life on Earth, from the very first single cell all the way to dinosaurs and beyond. The game runs on a satisfying loop of collecting entropy points, unlocking new nodes on a giant evolutionary tree, and watching your prehistoric world expand over time. What makes it stand out from typical idle games is the level of polish and educational depth packed into its design. Each unlocked creature comes with a beautifully illustrated card packed with fascinating facts, making it both enjoyable and genuinely informative. The visuals are clean and modern, the soundtrack sets a calm and curious mood, and the progression never feels like a grind. It is the kind of game you open for 2 minutes and close an hour later without noticing. Perfect for casual players who still want something with substance.
Coming in at number 2, The Isle delivers one of the most intense dinosaur survival experiences available on Steam. You drop into a massive open-world island, populated entirely by other players, all controlling different species of dinosaurs. The goal is elegantly simple, but brutally difficult: survive, grow, and dominate. You start small and vulnerable, needing food, water, and shelter just to make it through the first few hours. The longer you stay alive, the bigger and more powerful your dinosaur becomes. Packs form organically, herds band together, and ambushes happen in the dead of night. The atmosphere is genuinely tense, the environments are gorgeous and sprawling, and the player-driven ecosystem creates stories you simply cannot script. While it is still in early access, the amount of content and the sheer scale of the world already make it one of the most compelling dinosaur games ever made on PC. Number 3 on the list is Path of Titans, an MMO dinosaur survival game that gives you the freedom to live an entire prehistoric life, from hatchling to apex predator. You choose from a wide roster of dinosaur species, each with unique stats, abilities, and ecological roles in the ecosystem. The progression system is quest-driven, meaning you grow your character not just by eating and surviving, but by completing objectives that unlock new skills and customization options. Up to 200 players can share the same server, creating a living world full of real interactions, territorial disputes, and cooperative hunting. The map is enormous and visually detailed, ranging from dense forests to open floodplains and riverways. Cross-platform play is supported, and the modding community continuously adds new creatures and environments. For players who want a dinosaur game with long-term goals and a real sense of progression, Path of Titans is one of the most rewarding options out there right now.
At number 4, Prehistoric Kingdom is the park builder that dinosaur fans have been quietly dreaming about for years. Think Planet Zoo, but set entirely in the Mesozoic era, and you start to get a sense of what makes this game so captivating. You design and manage your own prehistoric wildlife park, carefully balancing enclosure conditions, guest satisfaction, and animal welfare for dozens of accurately reconstructed species. The game puts a strong emphasis on scientific plausibility, featuring feathered dinosaurs and detailed habitat requirements that go beyond the usual Jurassic Park aesthetics. Building tools are flexible and intuitive, allowing you to sculpt terrain, plant vegetation, and construct elaborate visitor facilities. The management layer adds genuine depth, keeping you engaged even after the novelty of the creatures wears off. It is one of the most thoughtful and detailed dinosaur park simulators available on Steam, and continues to grow with regular updates from its dedicated development team.
Number 5 is ARK Survival Evolved, the legendary open-world survival game that put dinosaur taming on the map and has never really left the conversation since. You wake up naked on a mysterious island, and from that moment forward, every decision you make is about survival. Gather resources, craft tools, build shelters, and eventually tame the terrifying creatures roaming the landscape, including everything from Triceratops and raptors to T-Rex and Quetzalcoatlus. The taming mechanic is deep and rewarding, requiring patience, preparation, and sometimes a small army of friends. Once tamed, dinosaurs become your companions, mounts, and weapons. The world is vast, the progression is long, and the multiplayer experience is unlike anything else in the genre. With years of updates and a still active community, ARK remains one of the most content-rich dinosaur games you can jump into today, and its free availability on Steam makes it impossible to leave off this list.
Sliding into number 6, Saurian is a unique dinosaur survival simulator that strips away the fantasy elements and asks a simple but fascinating question. What was it actually like to be a dinosaur? Set in the Hell Creek ecosystem of prehistoric North America during the late Cretaceous period, you play as real, scientifically reconstructed species like Dakotaraptor and Triceratops. Every element of the game is grounded in paleontological research, from the behaviors of prey animals to the vegetation that covers the terrain. As a dinosaur, your needs are constant and urgent. Find food, avoid predators, regulate body temperature, and survive long enough to grow. The game is deliberately slow-paced and atmospheric, rewarding patience and observation over action. It is a niche experience, but for anyone who has ever wanted a truly authentic dinosaur simulation rooted in science rather than spectacle, Saurian is one of a kind.
Number 7 goes to Dino Run DX, a lightning-fast side-scrolling survival game that captures something completely different from the rest of this list. You play as a small dinosaur desperately sprinting away from the Extinction event, an oncoming wall of fire, debris, and death chasing you across procedurally influenced terrain. The gameplay is fast, instinctive, and endlessly replayable, requiring you to dodge, weave, and collect bones while outrunning the apocalypse. The pixel art style is charming and expressive, carrying a retro energy that feels intentional rather than lazy. Beyond the main run mode, there are challenge maps, hidden secrets, and bonus eggs to collect that add layers of depth beneath the arcade surface. Controller support is solid, the level variety keeps things fresh, and the hat customization system is genuinely ridiculous in the best possible way. It is a short game, but an incredibly satisfying one that earns its place here on charm and replay value alone. Coming in at number 8, Island Saver is a colorful and family-friendly free game that uses dinosaurs and wildlife as the backdrop for an environmental cleanup adventure. You arrive on a series of beautiful tropical islands that have been wrecked by plastic pollution and litter bugs, and your mission is to restore them to their natural glory using your trusty trash blaster and a team of adorable animal companions called Nat Pals. The tone is upbeat and positive, making it especially suitable for younger players or anyone who wants something cheerful and low pressure. Despite the accessible feel, there is a satisfying progression loop that keeps you exploring new island biomes and unlocking new gear. The game was developed in partnership with NatWest and carries a gentle educational message about conservation without ever feeling preachy. Visually bright, mechanically simple, and genuinely wholesome, Island Saver is one of the most underrated free games on Steam in this entire genre. Number 9 brings us Primal Carnage Extinction, a wildly fun multiplayer shooter that pits armed human mercenaries against a full roster of playable dinosaurs across chaotic arena-style maps. The asymmetric gameplay is where the magic lives. Humans rely on teamwork, positioning, and firepower, while dinosaurs use speed, brute strength, and unique class abilities to overwhelm their prey. Playing as a pteranodon swooping down to snatch a screaming player off the ground never gets old, and neither does sprinting across a map as a T-Rex scattering everyone in your path. The roster of dinosaur classes is diverse, each with a distinct playstyle that encourages experimentation. Matches are loud, hectic, and enormously entertaining when both sides are evenly matched. The game has maintained an active community for years, a testament to how well the core concept holds up. For players who want a dino game that is all action and zero downtime, this delivers from the first match. At number 10, LEGO Jurassic World is the kind of game that works beautifully for both kids discovering Jurassic Park for the first time and adults who grew up with the films. The LEGO formula is polished and consistent: light puzzle solving, collectible hunting, simple combat, and an enormous amount of humor woven through every cutscene and interaction. This entry covers the storylines of all 4 main Jurassic Park films, complete with iconic moments reimagined in blocky, plastic glory. The roster of playable characters is massive, and unlocking new ones through exploration and collectibles gives the game substantial replay value. Co-op play makes it even better, especially for families or friends who want something stress-free and entertaining. The humor hits more often than it misses, the dinosaurs are charming rather than terrifying, and the production quality is consistently high. It remains one of the best Jurassic Park gaming experiences available today.
Number 11 is Dinosaur Fossil Hunter, a relaxed and methodical game centered around the thrilling process of discovering, excavating, cleaning, and displaying prehistoric fossils. You travel to dig sites around the world, carefully brushing away sediment layer by layer to uncover dinosaur bones, then transport them back to your museum, where you assemble and display complete skeletons. The pacing is deliberately slow and meditative, making it one of the most zen-gaining experiences in the dinosaur genre. The fossil preparation minigames are satisfying in a tactile way, and building up your museum into an impressive exhibition space gives the progression a meaningful goal. The educational component is woven naturally into the gameplay, offering real information about each species you uncover. For players who love management games, discovery loops, and anything paleontology adjacent, Dinosaur Fossil Hunter fills a very specific niche and fills it well. It is calm, rewarding, and genuinely interesting throughout. Coming in at number 12, Dinocop is one of the most creative and unexpectedly entertaining dinosaur games to arrive on Steam in recent years. The premise is completely absurd. Since no real dinosaurs wanted to become police officers when they were brought back to life, scientists created you, the only Dinocop in existence. You find yourself investigating a mystery at the Cretaceous Hotel, interviewing dinosaur guests, gathering clues, and navigating the deeply complicated politics of a world where humans and prehistoric reptiles coexist uneasily. The writing is sharp, funny, and surprisingly layered, leaning into its ridiculous concept without ever losing its narrative focus. The gameplay is point-and-click adjacent, built around dialogue choices and observation rather than action. It is charming, original, and polished in ways that defy its indie budget. If you are looking for something that will make you laugh while also keeping you engaged through a genuinely interesting story, Dinocop is one of the year's best surprises.
Number 13 is Paleo Pines, a cozy life simulation game that lets you build a ranch in a world where dinosaurs never went extinct and now live peacefully alongside humans. You arrive at a small, slightly run-down town and set about reviving it by farming, crafting, forming friendships with the locals, and most importantly, bonding with and caring for wild dinosaurs. Each dinosaur species has a distinct personality and a unique call language that you learn to communicate with through a flute mechanic, which forms the heart of the game's taming system. The pace is gentle, the visuals are warm and inviting, and the world feels alive without ever demanding urgency from the player. It draws obvious comparisons to Stardew Valley, but the dinosaur angle gives it a distinct identity all its own. For players who want a dinosaur game that soothes rather than stresses, Paleo Pines is one of the most thoughtfully crafted entries in the entire cozy gaming genre right now. At number 14, Deathground is a co-op survival horror game for 1 to 4 players that drops you into an abandoned research facility overrun by highly intelligent, terrifying dinosaurs. Your objectives are simple: complete assigned missions, recover valuable data or items, and get out alive. The dinosaurs, particularly the T-Rex and the raptors, are not just window dressing. They hunt by sound, react to movement, and adapt their patrol patterns in ways that keep you constantly on edge. Hiding under tables, communicating in whispers, and coordinating extractions without alerting the creatures creates genuine tension that few games in the horror genre manage to replicate. The facility environments are dark, atmospheric, and filled with tight corridors that give the dinosaurs a terrifying home field advantage. As a multiplayer experience, it is at its best, with each failed run teaching you something new about how the AI behaves. For horror fans who love co-op survival, this is absolutely essential. Number 15 is Animal Revolt Battle Simulator, a gloriously chaotic physics-based sandbox that lets you stage ridiculous battles between all manner of creatures, including a healthy selection of prehistoric dinosaurs. The entire point is to set up your own custom battles, adjust the teams, select the creatures, and watch the carnage unfold in real-time ragdoll physics. There is no traditional objective or campaign structure here. The appeal is entirely in experimentation and discovery. Want to see whether a pack of velociraptors can take down a T-Rex? Set it up and watch. The unit creator lets you build your own custom monsters by combining body parts, abilities, and behaviors, pushing the sandbox even further into creative territory. You can also jump into battles in first-person mode, which adds a completely different level of immersion to the mayhem. It is endlessly entertaining for the kind of player who loves to ask, what if, and then immediately find out. Coming in at number 16, Jurassic World Evolution 3 is the latest and most ambitious park builder from Frontier, the same studio behind Planet Zoo and Planet Coaster. Building on the foundations of its predecessors, this entry introduces juvenile dinosaurs for the first time in the series, meaning you now watch your creatures grow from hatchlings into full adults within your park. The species roster is the largest in the franchise to date, covering over 90 prehistoric animals with impressive visual fidelity. Park management has been deepened and refined, with new guest behavior systems, more complex enclosure requirements, and expanded creative building tools that give you unprecedented control over how your park looks and feels. The challenge scenarios keep things interesting even for veterans of the series, throwing environmental disasters and creature escape scenarios at you when you least expect them. If you have been following this franchise from the beginning, the third entry represents its most polished and fully realized expression yet. Number 17 is Dinotica, a vibrant open-world survival and crafting game that blends dinosaur companionship with base building, farming, and cooperative multiplayer exploration. You arrive in a lush and dangerous prehistoric world and must carve out a home from scratch, gathering resources, constructing shelters, growing food, and gradually forming bonds with the dinosaurs that roam the landscape. Unlike pure survival games, Dinotica encourages you to work with dinosaurs rather than just against them, making companion building a central part of the experience. The art style is colorful and expressive, giving the world a personality that sets it apart from the grittier entries in the survival genre. Cooperative play allows you and friends to build and explore together, which significantly opens up what you can accomplish. It is a warm and welcoming take on the survival crafting formula, designed for players who prefer collaboration and creativity over harsh, punishing mechanics.
At number 18, Primal Planet arrives as a heartfelt story-driven survival game that combines crafting, dinosaurs, and an unexpected alien mystery in one surprisingly emotional package. You begin as a humble cave dweller in a prehistoric world, populated by savage tribes and ancient predators. But the narrative quickly expands to reveal something much stranger and larger at play. Survival mechanics are paired with meaningful story beats, giving your progress a narrative weight beyond just resource collection. The crafting system is accessible without being shallow, and local co-op support means you can experience the whole adventure alongside a friend. The aesthetic leans into a storybook quality, making the world feel mythic and personal at the same time. Upgrades feel impactful, the creature design is creative, and the pacing balances action with quiet moments of exploration and discovery. It is a genuinely touching take on the prehistoric survival genre, with far more ambition than its modest scope might initially suggest.
Number 19 goes to Carnivores Dinosaur Hunt Reborn, a focused and atmospheric dinosaur hunting game that rewards patience, preparation, and skill over raw action. You arrive on a planet populated by real dinosaur species and must carefully stalk and take down your targets using a range of hunting equipment, from scent blocks and camouflage to an expanding arsenal of rifles and tranquilizer guns. The game tracks your movement and sound realistically, meaning a careless approach will send your target bolting before you even get a clear shot. The satisfaction of a clean, well-positioned hunt is genuine and hard-won. The environments are wide open and visually detailed, giving each species enough space to behave naturally and make the tracking process feel authentic. Trophy hunting adds a collectible layer that keeps completionists engaged well beyond the initial runs. If you want a dinosaur game built around deliberate, methodical gameplay rather than frantic survival, this is one of the best options available. Coming in at number 20, Dino D-Day is arguably the most gloriously ridiculous dinosaur game ever made, taking World War II multiplayer and asking, what if Hitler had also resurrected a dinosaur army? The result is a class-based multiplayer shooter where you can fight as either an allied soldier or a range of combat-equipped prehistoric creatures, from velociraptors to pterosaurs with bomb harnesses. The gameplay is fast, arcadey, and completely unhinged, leaning fully into its absurd premise without apology. Despite the chaos, the class system is reasonably well balanced, and coordinating with your team, whether human or dinosaur, adds a layer of strategy to the madness. The game has been around for years and maintains a dedicated community that keeps servers populated. It will never be mistaken for a serious military shooter, but that is entirely the point. Dino D-Day commits to its bit completely and is all the more entertaining for it.
At number 21, FEROCIOUS is a first-person survival shooter that drops you onto a dangerous tropical island where you face not only dinosaurs, but armed mercenaries and a genuinely hostile ecosystem. The tone is tense and cinematic, drawing from the aesthetics of action survival films while grounding itself in fast-paced, moment-to-moment gameplay. Exploration drives discovery, with environments ranging from dense jungle interiors to coastal cliffs, each populated with different predators and threats. The dinosaur AI is aggressive and responsive, making encounters feel unpredictable and urgent. Combat against mercenaries adds a human threat layer that keeps you from ever getting too comfortable in any one area. The visual quality is high for an indie production, with detailed environments and impressive creature animations. It is a straightforward action survival experience that executes its concept with confidence and polish, making it one of the better action-forward dinosaur games to arrive on Steam in recent memory.
Number 22 is My Singing Monsters, a beloved free-to-play monster collection and music game that features a surprisingly substantial roster of dinosaur and prehistoric creature-inspired monsters among its cast. You build and customize your islands, place singing monsters, and listen as their individual sounds combine into full, catchy musical compositions that evolve as you add more creatures. The loop is relaxing and addictive, driven by the desire to hear what your next unlocked monster sounds like and how it fits into your island's growing symphony. The production values are exceptional for a free game, with hand-drawn art and impressively unique creature designs that each contribute a distinct focal part to the ensemble. Social features allow you to visit friends' islands and share compositions, adding a community layer. It is unconventional for a dinosaur list, but its prehistorically inspired creatures and consistently positive reception make it a genuinely worthy entry.
Coming in at 23, Banana Drama is a chaotic indie real-time strategy game that pits a scrappy monkey army against an evil dinosaur empire in a battle that is exactly as ridiculous as it sounds. The gameplay blends accessible RTS mechanics with arcade energy, focusing more on fast decision-making and unit variety than complex macro management. You command the banana crew across a series of progressively unhinged maps, countering dinosaur hordes with an arsenal of monkey units, each with unique abilities and upgrade paths. The multiplayer component extends the life of the game significantly, with online matches providing unpredictable outcomes that keep the experience fresh. The humor is consistent and well executed, with visual gags and absurd unit animations woven throughout. For RTS players who want something lighter and more immediately fun than the genre's heavier entries, Banana Drama scratches a very specific itch in a charming and memorable way. Number 24 is Zniw Adventure, a hand-drawn point-and-click adventure game set entirely in a world populated by non-human dinosaurs and prehistoric creatures. You play as Zniw, a young female ceratopsian who sets off on a journey across a beautifully illustrated prehistoric landscape filled with puzzles, quirky characters, and a heartfelt coming-of-age story. The art style is the game's most immediately striking quality. Every frame looks like it was painted by hand, giving the whole experience the feel of an animated film brought to life. The puzzle design is logical and satisfying, never resorting to moon logic solutions that frustrate rather than engage. The writing is warm and funny in equal measure, treating its prehistoric cast with genuine affection. It is a short experience, but a deeply charming one, and the all-dinosaur world is realized with enough creativity and care to make it feel genuinely unique. A perfect pick for adventure game fans who want something quieter and more personal. Rounding out the list at number 25, SolForge Fusion is a collectible card battler that brings a fresh competitive structure to the free-to-play card game space, featuring a roster that includes dinosaur and prehistoric creature-themed cards among its diverse factions. Created by legendary game designers Richard Garfield and Justin Gary, the game introduces a novel hybrid deck system where two half-decks combine randomly to create unique full decks for every match. Cards level up during gameplay rather than before it, meaning your strategy evolves in real time as the match progresses. The depth of the system rewards careful play and creative deck building in ways that hold up across many hours of competition. Regular events and seasonal content keep the competitive scene active, and the free-to-play model is generous enough to let new players engage meaningfully without spending immediately. For card game enthusiasts looking for something with a dino-flavored twist and serious mechanical depth, SolForge Fusion is a genuinely impressive package.